live.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ثم أما بعد. We'll continue inshallah our discussion regarding zakah rules, and the last thing we finished last week is some differences between paying zakah versus paying tax to the government. Moving on, zakatable wealth. Zakatable wealth means what to be included in your zakah calculation versus non-zakatable wealth, which is what to be excluded from your zakah calculation. Zakatable wealth, as you see here, personal zakatable wealth, which means all the money that you have, all the cash money that you have in hand, that you have in your pocket, that you have at home, in your checking account, in your saving account, whether that money that you have already charged zakatul mal for the last year or the last years, okay, as long as you still have the money and the money actually reaches the threshold, which is the minimum amount of cash money that you have to be a zakah payer, whether that money is documented to the IRS or undocumented, whether it is for saving purposes or for investment purposes or for consumption purposes. You did not perform Hajj, for example, and you're saving for your Hajj. You are still single and you're saving, for your marriage. You do have kids and you want to save for their education, right? You want to buy a house, you want to buy a car, you want to save some money to pay off debts that you have. Whatever the reason might be, if one complete lunar year already passed, and if you set your zakah due date as the beginning of the month of Ramadan, which is like nowadays, and you still have that money actually is zakatable. You have to pay zakah. You have to pay zakah on it. As you see here in the slide, even the pension plan or the retirement account that you have actually is to be included. I'm not saying here that your whole 401k or your whole pension plan or individual retirement account is zakatable in full. I'm just saying that this is something to consider, okay, to be included in your zakah calculation, not to be excluded. Business zakatable wealth. Now, for business men and business women, anything that is called goods or merchandise or what else, commodity, whatever you offer, whatever is for sale in your store, in your business, is to be included. Another category that is a part or subcategory, if you wish, is the exploited assets. Exploited assets means like if you have a lab, okay, like a medical lab, and you do blood tests and other medical tests, right? All the machines that you have are not for sale, and thus they are not zakatable. But you make money out of providing that service. The money that you generate, that you receive from your patients, from your customers, is the zakatable one. Someone has a taxi cab, okay? The vehicle itself, even though it might worth tens of thousands of dollars, but it's not for sale. You use it for transportation, like for offering transportation service. Okay, you offer that service and you charge your customers, the passengers that you serve, you charge them money. The car itself actually is to be excluded. It's not included in zakah, but the money that you make is to be included. You have, for example, rental properties. Other than the house that you live in, you might have some condominiums, some apartments, some houses for rent. Okay, the market value of those rental properties is not for sale. You have only one condo for $100,000, right? But it is, exclusively for rent. It's not in the market for sale. If that is the case, then you don't have to pay zakah on the market value, which is $100,000 in our example. Rather, you have to pay zakah on the lease revenue, on the money that you for leasing that property, right? So trading goods, merchandise, exploited assets such as rental properties, factories, taxi cab, laboratory, and on and on. Agricultural products are to be included, whether crops from irrigated land or non-irrigated, land, as long as the irrigation actually entails, expenses you pay for the irrigation, then definitely you have to pay zakah on the agricultural products. Livestock, whether ovine or bovine, animals raised for commercial purposes, primarily sheep, goats, cows, and buffaloes. Okay, of course, camels are included, but in the American society here, not. I mean, camels is not something as common as cows and buffaloes. Treasury troves, to keep it simple nowadays, we call it rikaz. It could be interpreted as the hidden windfalls and discovered fortunes. Nowadays, more and more specific, like oiling and mining business. Okay, oil and gas mining business is what we mean by treasury troves. Other zakatable wealth. Okay, there is a rule here that we need to consider. As you see it here in the bottom of the slide, zakah is potentially due. Zakah is potentially due on all products. Those sources are not zakatable. What does this mean? It means that there is no scenario, there is no case where you have to pay zakah on the source of the product and the product itself. Someone has agricultural land, okay, like has a farming business, okay. You need to pay zakah. On the agricultural products, on the harvest, right? But the land itself actually is zakah exempt. Land is zakah exempt. Someone has producing honey business, right? Okay, so you do not pay zakah on the bees that you have, but you pay zakah on the honey itself. Whenever you sell that honey and you make money, you pay zakah on it. For example, dairy from livestock. If you have a lot of livestock, you have like a big cattle, but that cattle actually is not for your personal use. Rather, you own that livestock, to produce dairy products, milk and butter and cheese and on and on. So the livestock in this case is zakah exempt. Why? Because you pay zakah on the dairy products. Okay, despite the fact that livestock, if you still remember, we said that livestock actually is to be included here, right? But in this case, because you are not using the livestock like any other property that you own, no, you use it for producing dairy products. If you pay zakah on the dairy products, then the livestock or the cows that you have are zakah exempt. This is actually based on a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. لا ثنيا في الصدقة. لا ثنيا في الصدقة means no duplication in taxation. No duplication in taxation. It is either or. If you pay zakah on the dairy product, then the livestock is zakah exempt. Eggs from poultry, you do not pay zakah on the chicken that you have, right? Even if you have tens of thousands of chicken, zakah exempt. But since you produce eggs and you sell eggs and you make money out of selling eggs, then you pay zakah on the profit that you make out of selling eggs. Silk from silkworms, for example, you do not pay zakah on the silkworms themselves, but you pay zakah on the silk. See? So I just want to make sure that we understand this concept, that there is no duplication in taxation. There is no duplication in taxation. It's either or. And when we say it's either or, it's not by choice. It is by the dalil, by the evidence, okay, by what the Prophet ﷺ said, or what has been well established in the four different madhab of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. If we have zakatable wealth, then definitely we have non-zakatable wealth. What is to be excluded? What are those properties and assets and other issues that you might have? Even if you have a lot from them, they are zakah exempt. Okay? They are to be excluded and not to be included. Property for personal, family, and non-commercial use. Anything that you have not for sale. We just said that like if you are a business person, whatever commodity or merchandise or goods that you offer, that you sell to your customers, is to be included. Well, anything that you have for your personal, okay, for your family use, is to be excluded. For example, whatever food that you store on the pantry. Some of us actually, especially like those who came from the Middle East, they have that traditional culture of saving olive oils, for example, for maybe 6 months or even 1 year, or even like olives, sometimes flour, sometimes rice, sometimes sugar, whatever the products might be. If you have a big amount of a certain product or a certain food that is not for commercial purposes, everything that you have, everything that you store in your garage or in your pantry is zakah exempt. So as stored for consumption is exempt. Clothing, all the clothes that you have, even if you have more than what you need, as long as those suits that you have in your closet are for your personal use. And when I say for personal use, it does not mean that you have to wear them every day or every week. No, it means that those suits or those clothes at large are designated for your personal use. Okay, you did not buy them to store them for a while and then to resell them back again. No, they are for your personal use. You might wear some of those suits maybe once a year, maybe like once every 2 years. Okay, as long as they are for commercial purposes, then they are zakah exempt. Residence, the house that you live in, is of course zakah exempt, right? Even if you have more than one house. Maybe some of us are from the Middle East or from different countries outside the US, and they do have their own homes or their own houses in the US, and maybe another house back home in Bangladesh, in Jordan, in Algeria, in Canada, right? If the other house that you have, the other house overseas that you have, is not for sale, it's not active in the market, and it's not for rent. Okay, it is just locked completely throughout the whole year long. Whenever you decide to go overseas to go vacation, you use that land. I'm sorry, that house or that apartment. If that is the case, then that house is zakah exempt. Is zakah exempt as well. Transportation or the cars that you have in front of your house, okay, are zakah exempt. You have a car for yourself, another car for your wife, another car for your son, another car for your daughter, right? That's 4 cars, and none of them actually are for sale. Okay, then definitely all of them are zakah exempt. When we say that all what you have is zakah exempt as long as they are for your personal use, I just want to emphasize a concept here that a Muslim is not supposed to lead an extravagant lifestyle. A Muslim is not supposed to lead an extravagant lifestyle. That's called the israf. And israf actually is extravagance, which is haram. It is prohibited. For example, you need 5 bedrooms house, and you have 12 bedrooms house. I mean, that is haram. Yes, that house is for your personal use, but you do not you do not need that big, spacious, huge mansion. Or, well, I mean, that is too much, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا, وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا, and eat and drink, but do not exaggerate. لا تسرفوا إنه لا يحب المسرفين. He does not like those who lead an extravagant lifestyle. So you need to be reasonable in your expenditure, right? However, if you do have more than what you need, say for example that you have 5 cars, but you need only 2. Okay, well, the extra 3 cars are still zakah exempt, but you will be held responsible in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of leading an extravagant lifestyle. So the summary here is that all the properties that you have for your personal use are zakah exempt. Maybe it's too early to talk about jewelry, but you can easily tell from this approach that the jewelry of your wife and your daughters is zakah exempt as well, as long as that jewelry is within the average that other females, other women. Discussion here, I'm just giving you heads up, like before we talk about jewelry. But in summary, in brief, jewelry actually is to be executed, okay, of the Prophet ﷺ. For example, if you have up to 29 cows, okay, they are not 30, they are 29, they are zakah exempt. Even if you have those cows for commercial purposes. By the way, this is one of the very rare categories that we go with the count, okay, not with the purpose of owning that property. So even if you have 29 cows, again, for business purposes, they are zakah exempt. Once you hit 30, once you hit 30, then the cows that you have are zakatable, even if you have them for your personal use. Even if you have them for your personal use. When it comes to ovine, like sheep and goat, up to 39 are exempt, right? Once you hit 40, 40 and up, then you have to consider paying zakat al-mal. Poultry actually are zakah exempt. You have chicken and other like fowl, they are zakah exempt, okay? There is no evidence that you need to pay zakah on the chicken that you have if you have a lot. Personal, like pets for personal use. If you have pets, if you have horses, of course halal pets, horses, whatever, all of them actually are zakah exempt. All the tools and devices and instruments and equipments that you utilize to run your business, okay, whatever you use to run your business, whatever equipment or instruments or devices or tools, okay, you have a building, okay, you have an office for your business, you have a parking lot owned by you, you have machineries, you have trucks, okay, you have shelves, you have softwares, you have hardwares, you have surveillance cameras, you have different tools that you use to run your business. Whatever you have, as long as those equipments are not for business purposes, like not for sale, I'm sorry, then they are zakah exempt. As I said, the agricultural land itself is zakah exempt because you have to pay zakah on the agricultural products or the harvest. Property and public trust, anything that is not privately owned, anything that is not privately owned actually is to be excluded. Anything that is not privately owned. You have a masjid, mashallah, our masajid, maybe worth millions of dollars, like the whole premises. Okay, that masjid and the whole premises and the parking lot and the like other campuses or buildings, whether it is a multi-purpose hall or a swimming pool or gymnasium or a school or playground for the kids, whatever you have actually is zakah exempt because that masjid is not owned privately by certain individuals. Yes, there is a board of trustees and executive body to run the masjid, but those are not the owners of the property. They are the representatives of the Muslim community in running the affairs or taking care of the operation of that masjid. So the masajid, hospitals, schools, orphanages, and on are zakah exempt. Okay, hold on. When it comes to nursing homes, okay, hospitals, for example, are they really zakah exempt? Well, it depends. What if a group of investors, group of medical doctors, physicians, put their money together and they built a hospital and they offer like healthcare service and they charge money? Well, the building itself, the campus, the hospital itself is zakah exempt. And the equipments and the tools, as I said, all are zakah exempt. But the money that you make, the money that they make, those investors, from having that nursing home or that hospital is zakatable. Make no mistake about it. So I'm referring here actually to the governmental, like state-owned or county-owned hospital or nursing home. Okay, public and not private. Those are actually the zakah exempt one. Designated properties for endowment, along with the fund generated from these properties. Some of the churches here in the US and synagogues and masajid, they do have their own endowment. Like they buy a property, a piece of land next to the masjid or far away from the masjid for renting purposes, and they make money out of it. Some of them actually buy apartment complex and they rent it. So the apartment complex and the money, both that are designated for the for the financial support of the masjid are zakah exempt. Why? Because the beneficiary, the masjid itself, is zakah exempt. So whatever is owned, whatever is designated for the best interest, okay, of that zakah exempt property, which is the masjid, is zakah exempt by default. Unlawful wealth. If someone generated money in a haram, in a prohibited way, unlawful, like money coming from interest, stolen property, out of forgery, out of extortion, out of bribery, okay, monopoly, fraud, cheating, whatever the haram way might be, that money actually is not zakatable because it has to be disposed in full. If someone actually extorted money, like took money by force, by bullying others and just take their money, he has to pay that money back. The fact that he has taken that money and paid 2.5% of the money does not make it halal. He has no choice but to return that property back or that money back to its legitimate owners. So stolen property is the same. You cannot. Sorry, I mean, if someone like has stolen, money, he has to like pay back or return that money to its legitimate owner. Money coming from interest. Okay, you open a saving account or you have your own, like your own, let's say, bank, or you lend money. You lend money and you make interest. That interest coming from loans is a haram money. Okay, you have to dispose it in full. You have to dispose it. I mean, you cannot benefit from it. Even if you pay 2.5%, it has to be paid 100%, not 2.5%. So remember those different scenarios: stolen property, money coming from interest, out of money came through like forgery, extortion, bribery, monopoly, fraud, or cheating. Okay, if you know the legitimate owner of that money, then you have to pay it back to them. If you do not, then you have to donate that money on their behalf. You have to donate that money on their behalf. So this is just the zakatable versus non-zakatable wealth, and inshallah we'll continue next week talking about zakatability for the payer and zakatability for the wealth. Before I let you go today, let me share with you our project, which is Guidance College. Guidance College actually is an Islamic university, has been established back in 2011, 2012. And since that time, alhamdulillah, we've been operating and disseminating authentic and relevant Islamic knowledge. Now we are in the process of getting the university accredited by SACS, by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. And of course, the accreditation process costs a lot of money. We do have, alhamdulillah, a lot of students who are either in financial aid or in scholarship who are in need, for the generosity and the support of the Muslim community. Look at this. More on it. It was narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. A man asked the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam by saying, "O Messenger of Allah, which kind of charity is best? Which kind of charity is best?" He said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, giving charity when you are in good health, feeling stingy, like a need for the money, hoping for a long life, and fearing poverty. Subhanallah, as the Prophet ﷺ is talking about our situation nowadays. All of us, or most of us, alhamdulillah, with the grace of Allah, we are in good health and feeling stingy because we are in need because of the pandemic and the uncertainty and the recession that the US economy actually is experiencing and going through nowadays. So we feel stingy that we need that money, hoping for a long life, okay, and fearing poverty. Now this is the best time. This is the best time for us to donate for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Guidance College actually depends a lot on donation. And because of the pandemic, because of the social distancing, all the masajid are closed. And we were supposed to go out like every year and just solicit funds and from different Islamic centers and masajid. For this year, actually, everything is locked down and there are no masajid open, to go there and visit and talk about the project. So I'm here today actually to appeal to you all to support Guidance College. Since we are talking about zakah rules, rest assured that Guidance College is an eligible zakah recipient. Guidance College is an eligible zakah recipient. That definitely you can pay zakatul mal, the 2.5% that you pay nowadays. you can designate that fund for, guidance college under the category of fi sabilillah, for the cause of Allah. As I said, we have a lot of students who are waiting for your generosity, for your support. The accreditation actually expense, inshallah, soon will be one of the first Islamic universities who are accredited in the US. So inshallah, students of knowledge, Muslims and non-Muslims who would like to learn more about Islam, they will be coming to the right resource and learn from the right professors, the right information, authentic and relevant information. So please be generous. Show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala your dedication, your support, your generosity in the month of Ramadan. If you can sponsor one student for 1 year, that's $2,500. Do yourself a favor and go for it. If you cannot afford other than 1,000, go for it. If the only thing you can afford is 500, go for it. If 100 is the best you can do, go for it. Believe it or not, if the only thing you can afford is $1, do not shy away from paying that $1 for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Something is better than nothing, and you do not know which sadaqah, which donation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept and will bless and will multiply your reward for. So please be generous with guidance college. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.